They are the Fab Five. They have the greatest niches that exploded their popularity in platforms. They innovated more than anybody else when they were rising. And all of the social networks today have spawned from them somehow, somewhat. So they belong in the Fab Five. If you were to say one, it's Facebook. But the Fab Five, it's them. Not because they're better than any one or another one. It's just because, again, they have the greatest niches that rose their popularity. Facebook is the social network, not a social network. LinkedIn is the professionals network. So again, they all have a niche. Well, Tony, I get the Fab Five. I know them like the back of my hand. I see them. I have accounts. But there's 100 social networks out there. And if it was also important to be on 2 more, instead of just these 5, and I didn't know which 2 I should pick, where it was critical for somebody to be able to find me in that platform, give me 2 more. And that's where I would add to the mix Instagram and Pinterest to the Magnificent 7. Not because they're better than Vine or Tumblr or Snapchat, even though we know that they're better than Vine, because Twitter owned Vine, and now Vine is being dismantled and has failed. It's because Instagram and Pinterest had the greatest niche and exploded them globally, literally in just a fraction of the time as most. But they're the big 7, Magnificent 7. So Facebook, king and queen of all social networks. Nobody even comes close to touching them. They are not going anywhere. Mark Zuckerberg is sending rockets into space. They're not going anywhere. It's a $200 billion company, and all it is a website. Google is a $300 and almost $400 billion company, but they're not just a website anymore. They do so many other things besides just being a website. Facebook truly is the most expensive website on the planet. They have 1 billion more people than any other social network on the planet. Not 500 million more. They literally have 1 billion more people than any other network on the planet. There's only 170-something million people in the United States that have Facebook. There's only almost 400 million people in the United States. And yet, we think it's just an American-based form of communication. And yet, there's almost 2 billion people on Facebook. It's global. Does anybody want to guess what the #1 source of communication is online now, globally? Facebook. So they're not going anywhere. They're the social network. LinkedIn is the professionals network. That's their niche. They own it. Not one other professional network comes close to their dominance. YouTube is the video network. They own that. Not any other network is close to their dominance that does video. Instagram is the photo network. Not any other network comes close to the dominance that Instagram achieved with self-expression through an image. Pinterest is the interest network. Stolen right out of the hands of Reddit.com. Because they took it and they said, we'll just make a social network regarding interests and vision boards and shopping and retail. Twitter is the news network. They own the news. Dominant. And Google Plus is the I have no clue network.
Yeah, what is the...
They don't have a niche. And when they rose so fast, It was hilarious to me. Because everybody and their grandma on Facebook was saying, oh, Facebook's done. Google just launched Google Plus and it's coming into the social network scene. You don't mess with Google, Facebook. You're done. Twitter, you're done. Google's going to take both of you out. I hear people posting on Facebook that. I go to tech conferences and actually hear national speakers who are social media experts getting on stage before I came on stage, telling audiences the same thing. It's the end of Facebook and Twitter as we know it. And I was one of the only people in the United States during 2010, 11, and 12 who literally would come on stage and say the exact opposite of the person who was on before me. I remember a tech conference where all the big social networks were in attendance, and I got to speak. And I'd come out on stage and say the opposite. Not only will Facebook and Twitter still be here, and I didn't look at the Google Plus executives in the first row of the audience, Google Plus will fail unless you figure out a niche in less than 5 years. What purpose do you give me? What value do you give me? You don't have a niche. Well, Tony, we're going to be the greatest social network mankind has ever seen because Facebook started doing web results, and we own web search, Google. And they started doing web results inside Facebook powered by Bing. And they're competing with us then. So we're going to compete with them and launch Google Plus. And we're going to be the greatest social network the world will see. Hi, Facebook. We got that niche. You're not going to take us out. And then they realized that they couldn't. Okay, we'll be a professionals network. That's how we'll survive. Screw Tony. He's not right. We'll be a professional network. Hi, LinkedIn. We got that. You're not taking us further. Okay, we'll be a news network. Hi, Twitter. We got that. Okay, we'll be a video network because we own YouTube. And what we'll do is we'll take your YouTube channel, since we own them, and we'll take your Google Plus profile and we'll pair them together so that people can watch videos on your social network of Google Plus too. Hi, YouTube. We got that. And you own us. Nobody wants to watch videos on Google Plus. Okay, we'll be a photo or interest network. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Pinterest. We got that. And thought of it after you, so you're just stupid. They couldn't figure out a niche. And everybody was like, you're wrong, Tony, you're wrong, Tony. And who announced in a press release 18 months ago the failure of Google Plus? Google. It's failed. They've thrown in the towel. In the press release, they even said, we cannot compete with Facebook as a social network globally. We didn't even need to get into that round. Because we finally figured out our niche. What Tony was trying to say. We're Google. That's our niche. We're the greatest, largest social network on the planet. And even though Facebook has risen this search engine called Bing to a pretty powerful spot, we own 60% of the search market share. And it's only continuing to rise because we finally figured out our niche and we realize nobody's Yahooing. Nobody's Binging you. They're Googling. And if you don't support everything Google, will just move you to page 2 or 3 of Google results when somebody Googles your name. That's their new algorithm, and it's already working. It's already increasing their market share even more. I don't care where I show up at Yahoo results. I've never even checked. Because where is the consumer looking for me?
Google.
Google, which means I have to support Google. Google. And there's ways to do it, and there's ways not to do it. And we'll get into that later. So I call them, and the reason they're in the Fab 5 and Magnificent 7 is they're the SEO network. That's why you have to be everything Google. Is because people are Googling you, which means you need to show up and have great results inside there. That's why they're here. So if you don't have a Google Plus, you need to get one. Because they're going to be dismantling it and transitioning it, but it's still going to exist. It's just going to be more of a Pinterest-looking profile inside Google. When somebody Googles your name, they're going to see this little social aspect to you inside Google search. They're already starting to do it. But competing with Facebook globally? No. Because they're Google. Well, Tony, that's great. I get the Magnificent 7. But if there was 2 more that I had to make sure I had accounts and a profile in that were critical for people to be able to find me in if they just felt the need to look for me, and I didn't know which other 2 I should do, give me 2 more. And that's where I would take you to the online, and we would add Snapchat and Periscope to the group. Snapchat's niche, just like mine was short second viral video, 3 seconds even, when they first started, that would disappear a few seconds later, like it never happened. And same with Vine. But Snapchat got a huge popularity kickstart, and Vine didn't get that kickstart. So it exploded way quicker and became dominant in that niche. And the reason they got their popularity kick, if you remember, a few years ago, a couple politicians took a 3-second video of something you shouldn't take a 3-second video of to send it to another female account holder, thinking it would just disappear a few seconds later, but it doesn't really disappear like they say it does. It goes onto a server at Snap Inc. So when government finds out, they subpoena Snap Inc. And Snap Inc. releases said 3-second video, and politician is stepping down the next morning. So when they exploded, everybody wanted to get one. Everybody wanted to start using one, especially the young demographic. Very, very young demographic. And here's why. When the young demographic left Facebook a few years ago, because they didn't want to be friends with their grandparents and parents, they flooded the gates of the social network that originally was launched just for professional photographers to share ideas. And then it became semi-professional photographers. And then it became for wannabe photographers. And then it became for the young generation on Facebook that just love to take selfies. And Instagram rose as a global dominant platform. But then, Dad and Mom are now following me on Instagram. So then they flooded the gates of Snapchat. Because now that became where it was just a young demographic. But here's what I don't want you doing, is what so many agents I hear saying is, oh, that generation leaving Facebook, so we gotta follow them to Instagram. Oh, that generation is leaving Instagram, they're going to Snapchat, so those are going away. Wrong. Remember why a 19-year-old needs social media. How it started. That's all they need it for. MySpace, Facebook, in a college. They only need social media for its least purpose. Who's dating who? Who's single, who's not? Wannabe supermodel, wannabe musician, self-expression in ways they shouldn't, selfies, selfie for Monday, selfie for Tuesday, sad face Wednesdays, thirsty Thursday Thursdays, animated flowers on her forehead, and cartoon puppy dog tongues hanging out of her mouth. What more do they need social media for? So of course they don't want to be friends with their parents on Instagram. Of course they don't want to be friends with their grandparents on Facebook. Because they want to be able to do things to their friends and with their friends that they don't want them seeing. But who's reactivating their Facebooks who left 5 years ago? 25 and 26-year-olds who now have careers, who now have to build a brand and build relationships. And now he works at Mercedes and he's selling cars. And somebody comes in to buy a car. And then she tags it on her Facebook. And she has 33 comments of her friends saying, "Congratulations on your car." And then he likes it. And then 2 of her friends say, "We'd like to see that car." And then he gets 2 more sales out of the post on Facebook. And the domino effect goes. But until they need it for everything else it does, of course they're going to leave it as soon as they can't do what they want to use it for. So that being said, are they a sign of where a new platform will rise? Sure. Because eventually everybody will flood the gates for that. But I speak for the business graduate classes of Stanford, Pepperdine, USC, UCLA, and I learned from that generation as much as they learned from me on what reasons they need it for. And it's literally the bare minimum of what we need it for. And I'll say this confidently, no matter what audience I'm talking from, even in front of 20-year-olds. There's not a 22-year-old on the planet, unless they work for a massive organization that knows a fraction of what I know about social media at the age of 39. You don't know a fraction of what these networks can do, because you use them for their bare minimum purpose. You just see the rabbit hole, and you're like, wow, that looks deep. But I can take people 100 miles down that rabbit hole online, and you're about to know them all right now. Not all, but a good amount. But Snapchat's in trouble. They're gonna be hurt because they're losing their niche very quickly. Instagram now does video. So Instagram is no longer the photo network, because they're doing more things than just photo. And Snapchat, besides the youngest demographic sharing their story to their closest friends and family, what purpose do you serve me? Now I know I can take advantage of Snapchat in my advanced workshop with Snapchat that I have of geo-targeting and knowing how to get out there and force our brand and build a relationship out of it, but it's not simple. And at a Palo Alto, California conference just a few months ago, Mark Zuckerberg and the CEO of Instagram walk out on stage, which is his partner, because Facebook owns Instagram. And they walk out on stage and they show the new launch of Instagram's newest update, which pretty much does everything Snapchat can do. And the oohs and the ahs went through the audience. And Mark Zuckerberg looked right at the Snapchat executives and goes, "We can thank you for this." The guy has no filter. Like, he doesn't care. And just like Expedia and just like Zillow, Anybody who does something that people seem to love, he buys them or he implements the same technology inside Facebook because he has the billions to do anything another network can do. So let's not forget, the people who created these networks are geniuses. 180 IQs. The guy is brilliant. Might be odd, but he's brilliant. Periscope's niche was they were the first to do live video streaming, meaning every video you watched inside the Periscope app was happening live. And they came on scene a few years ago, actually, not a few months ago. But they didn't have a popularity kick because they weren't out there with commercials and different things. And so only big techies knew about Periscope. And I just remember seeing Periscope and I was like, this is cool. I created an account. I was like, all right, live video streaming. But unless you're going to get it out to the world, no one will know it exists. But I had one. I used it from time to time. Didn't see a whole lot of value. But when you think live video streaming, what do you usually think of? When you think of that you're watching something live?
News.
Before Facebook Live, what did you think of when you thought of live videos that you were watching? News. News. And who owns the news? Twitter. So who do you think bought it? Twitter. So Twitter buys Periscope immediately, and then Periscope really starts to take off. But they keep them at bay because they want the live video streaming of Periscope to just feed in directly to Twitter, which is why when you hashtag something on Twitter today, and you're scrolling through everybody's tweets, and something's trending, you see that little Periscope logo inside Twitter now, in tweets. And if you're watching the news and they say, mention us at CNN, hashtag Orlando shooting, tell us your thoughts, and you hear about it and you're like, what's going on? And you go into Twitter for its purpose, which is getting information when you need it, and you hashtag Orlando shooting, and you scroll through the tweets and everybody's like, oh my goodness, prayers go out, prayers go out, prayers go out, and then all of a sudden you see the Periscope logo, and if you click that, you will go out of Twitter into your Periscope app through the lens of your phone, through the lens of somebody standing on the corner as the shooting is happening live, as if you're in there with it. So as they explode and Twitter starts to get an elevated visual aspect to it, what does Facebook roll out? Facebook Live. Because once again, oh, that's a good idea, Periscope. I'll do that too. And what's funny is now he's already taken the word live. As soon as you hear live, you think of Facebook Live. But Twitter still owns the live news. Facebook owns social and business live video. But they own the news because what do you see at the bottom of your TV screen every night when you're watching the news?
Twitter.
The blue bird. Mention us at Local 4, hashtag San Antonio Development. Tell us your thoughts on Twitter. Follow the local news reporter on her Twitter account. And occasionally you'll see the Snap little username and the Facebook usernames as well. But Twitter owns the news. And until somebody buys Twitter, they'll probably continue to own the news. And Google came that close, but Twitter thinks they're worth twice as much as they actually are. So Google's like, never mind. But somebody's going to buy it, and somebody's probably going to buy Snapchat. So they all serve a purpose. You need to have one on your phone. You need to log into these apps. And guess what I want you to do after you log into all these apps on your phone? Never log out. Never log out. Log out of your desktop when you're on it. Because if I walk by your office and I see that your Facebook is up, I'll probably mess with you. But your phone, nobody's going to get your phone and post on your behalf. It's got a passcode or a fingerprint now. So don't be worried that you're open and your app is still logged in. And here's why. It's going to allow you to just rapid fire any moment of the day. Just log in, log out, copy, paste, share, Facebook, copy, paste the same paragraph, Google+, post, share, boom, 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 add a hashtag, drop a hashtag, move some characters, add a photo to Instagram, add the photo. Just rapid fire. Not. All right, Tony said post something on Facebook. Post. Twitter. What's my login? No, that's my login. Reset password, email password, ring ring. Hi, can we see that property? Sure. What was I doing? And on with it. You're making it difficult to just rapid fire. I could literally stand in line at Starbucks for 7 minutes and completely destroy my competition when it comes to content going out there to the world. Just rapid firing. Boom, 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 done. And I'm not even using the little Instagram feature of send it to Facebook while you're at it. Because Facebook hides anything that is fed in from a third party a lot of the time. How do I know that for a fact? I track it every week. I upload a photo to Instagram and I feed it into Facebook. 30 likes within a few minutes on the photo on Instagram. I check it on Facebook, 4 likes. No way. I delete the photo, I re-upload it directly to Facebook and say the same thing I did on Instagram, 100 likes in less than 10 minutes. Facebook hides things that feed in a lot. They hide Hootsuite, they hide your MLS links. They don't like third-party feeding. They want you to authentically go into each network and post something. And remember, they all have a different niche, which means your message has to change.